guys, it's your girl Kaya and welcome back to my channel. Tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air. Okay, it's a little echoey, so I'm not gonna have to talk that loud. There's a mic right here. Hello. I don't need to do all that, but I like that crisp sound, hence why I'm using my mic in the first place. Okay. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different kind of video, but I was watching this YouTuber, Deb Smikle, and she does like confession videos. She does like plenty of other stuff too, but she was doing like am I the a-hole confessions like from Reddit, and I was like, I kind of liked it. It was entertaining to like hear other people's confessions and then for her to like react to them. And I was like, the judgmental person I am, I feel like I should be reacting to this. Like, should I not? Should I not? So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be readings off. I literally downloaded Reddit just for this video. Just for this video. So I'm going to be reading off some Am I the A-hole confessions. For those who don't know what that is, basically it's just people go and like Reddit or like other threads and they put like it's like aita. Tell me why at first I thought that was Ada. I was like, what's Ada?
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
Ada girl. Am I the a-hole confessions, and they explain the situation, then they ask, are you the a-hole? And people normally just respond to them. So it's just kind of like an open anonymous confession feed, which I'm actually down for because those people have guts, the courage to sit there and do that. So let's just get straight into it because I act like I got all day. Plenty of other stuff I need to get done. I'm just excited for this. I have to do this now. I want to do this now. So start off for the first one. I am going to like put it on screen for you guys as well so you guys can read it with me. So there's am I the a-hole public? Am I the a-hole filtered? And am I the a-hole relationships? And I feel like we're going to do relationships. And am I the a-hole for not taking the relationship seriously? Apologies for the terrible English beforehand. Not my first language. You are okay. Long story short, I got acquainted with a guy. Oh, she's long. This is long. So everyone buckle up.
Seatbelts, everyone!
Also, do know I'm a slow processor, so I'm gonna have to probably read this a couple times before I understand what's happening. I got acquainted with a guy online from a friend, period. I met him with no intentions of dating or the such, but you get where I'm going. I took the relationship casually, but after a while, he reached out to me to play games together as a duo without my friend. And I just went with it because playing games together wouldn't hurt no one. At some point, I started noticing that he was pretty flirty, and although deep down inside I felt that it was terribly cringy, also I'm just about to turn 18 in a few days and he is 2 years older. Maybe because I have no experience in love or stuff like that, I just quietly laughed and brushed it off. I didn't outwardly reject it with an ew, and I feel a little guilty for it. I was interested in relationships, so I did at some point reciprocate his advances towards me and flirted back a little. At this point, I had no idea of how he looked or what he did. He started sending me gifts. Maybe it was an early sign, but instead of feeling that it was romantic, it really burdened me. Call me selfish and unreasonable, but it's just really uncomfortable that he didn't tell me about it beforehand and asked how I felt about it. I really tried to like him, but after a few weeks, I gave up on the thought and outwardly just decided to end this weird connection we had with each other. We weren't dating, and he brought it up, saying that we aren't officially in a relationship yet, so he wasn't sure what I'm ending. I just felt really uncomfortable day by day with this weird back-to-back thing, and I just spurted how I felt up front. He offered to try and court me, and I rejected it, saying that I have no intentions and feelings to undergo that again. I instead offered to be casual friends on behalf of him being a close friend to my friend. He still often sends me messages and asks if it burdens me to receive them, and I'm unsure of how to respond because I don't want to. You get what I mean, I guess. All in all, I don't know what to do at this point. Any ideas, please spare me. I've never been in a relationship. Okay, so I reread it. So what I'm getting from this is basically he is a friend of one of her friends, but he's a close friend of one of her friends, okay? And I guess maybe all three of them used to play games together, blah, blah, blah. But then he started solely inviting her to play games, right? Just for that little one-on-one time. That's what it's giving from his perspective. And from her, she's like, okay, like, whatever. Like, you know, I don't like you or anything. We're just friends. Like, it's cool. We can play games one-on-one. That was kind of, I would say, the first sign. Sounds like they didn't have, like, any experience with, like, a relationship or anything. everything. So, it was just like, okay. And I've been in that position before, so yeah. Then games started to turn into a little bit. He would try to like put little advances out there, little like temperature, like, hey, little sprinkle this, sprinkle that. And it was like, well, I kind of do have, the means to be in a relationship. Maybe I'll entertain this for a little bit. And so they entertained it for a little bit. But then I think he started receiving it as, they like it, they liking it. I'm about to, okay, send them gifts. It's giving his love language, definitely gifts. We all show our love language to other people. And that's how you know, like, our love language, because we show it to other people. So his love language is definitely gifts. He sent gifts, and it made them feel weird. Like, I don't know how to feel about this because we're not together, we're not dating, but like, I don't want to like reject you and reject this gift. Long story short, they ended up being like, okay, the gifts make me feel weird. I feel like I'm being burdened. I think we need to call this off. I don't have any intentions on trying to date you or trying to be with you. So I think that we should just like call it quits and just like be casual friends. Cool. But then he was like, we were never even together. So I don't even know what we're really ending. Okay. Are you the a-hole? I'm going to say, I don't know if y'all can disagree with me. I'm going to say no, you're not the a-hole, because, listen, hear me out. You never been in a relationship. You had no idea and everything, right? And so it's not like you kind of said, like, oh my gosh, yes, like, I love this, but you really don't. Like, you never, like, lied. It sounds like you might have entertained it for a little bit, and maybe you shouldn't have, right? But you were like, maybe I can get to like this guy. It's kind of like you're trying to convince yourself, trying to build up to the point of liking him, but you just didn't, and that's fair. And then you asked for the gifts to stop, and then he didn't stop. That's where it's kind of like losing me, like, do he not know how to listen? Like, you said stop sending me gifts and you're still sending me gifts. Look, I think I'd probably still accept the gifts. Ooh, no one's gonna like that. But honestly, it's easier to draw the line where it's small, so you don't even have to worry about like if it becomes a bigger situation. So I'm gonna say no, only because at the end you were honest and you did say like, can we just be friends, please? Next time, just don't entertain if you don't feel a little something. Because I understand trying to like be like, well, maybe there could be a chance. Maybe we could be something. Let me like try, been there, done that, So I'm not going to say you're the a-hole for it, but let's not. This one says, am I the a-hole for leaving my boyfriend because he refused to grow up? Ooh. Okay, I, 25 years old female, was with my ex-boyfriend, Jake, 32 male, for 3 years. At first, he was funny, charming, and full of big dreams. He talked about starting his own business, traveling the world, and making something of himself. I believed in him. I supported him. I was ready to build a future together. But over time, I realized that's all they were, dreams. Jake never actually worked toward anything. He hopped from job to job, quitting whenever things got too stressful or didn't feel right. Meanwhile, I was working full-time, paying most of our rent, utilities, groceries, basically carrying the entire relationship financially and emotionally. I tried everything to encourage him. I suggested trade schools, side hustles, even just sticking with one job long enough to move up. But every conversation ended with, I just need time. The right opportunity will come, or you just don't get it. And it wasn't just about money. Our apartment was always a mess because he refused to do basic chores. Dishes piled up, laundry sat untouched, even if I asked him to do my laundry. And when I cooked, he just ordered takeout or eat cereal. Meanwhile, he had time for video games, YouTube, and hanging out with his friends. And don't get me started on his friends. The breaking point? I got a promotion at work, something I worked hard for. I was so excited to tell him, thinking he'd be proud. Instead, he barely looked up from his phone and muttered, "Must be nice to have things handed to you. And please pick up food," because he was hungry and have not had anything that whole day. That was it. I told him I couldn't do this anymore. I needed a partner, not a man-child. He accused me of abandoning him when he needed me most and said I was obsessed with money and status. The guilt tripping almost worked until he took it a step further. As I was packing my things, Jake lost it. He went from begging me to stay to full-blown rage, saying if I left, I regret it. He got in my face and said, if you walk out that door, don't be surprised if something bad happens to you. I don't know if he meant it as a threat or just desperate attempt to scare me, but in the moment I knew I had to go. I moved out the next day. But the worst thing is that my family is on his side. Apparently Jake has been calling my parents and siblings, playing the heartbroken victim. My mom keeps telling me relationships take work and that I should have been more patient. My dad, who loves Jake, for some reason said I'm being cold and that a man's pride takes longer to develop. Even my sister told me I'm overreacting and give him another chance now that he knows what he's lost. My brother says that I'm never going to find someone better. I told them about the threat and they brushed it off as just words, said in the heat of the moment. My dad even said, if he really meant it, would he be crying to us about you? But I know if I go back, nothing will change. He'll just think he can manipulate me into staying every time I try to leave. So now not only is Jake playing victim, but my family's making me second guess myself. So am I the a-hole for standing my ground and refusing to go back?
I am disgusted.
Let's unpack this. I'm sorry, this is a lot. It's giving I'm only going to be able to read like 4 of these because this is a lot to unpack. Okay, first of all, are you the a-hole? No. I'm just going to get that out the way. I'm going to explain the why, but you're not the a-hole. It sounds like your family is and Jake is the a-hole. I'm going to be completely honest with you. But your family's being manipulated as well. So maybe they're not necessarily the a-holes directly, right? They're indirectly a-holes, but Jake is. And Jake's good. I gotta be honest with you. Jake is good. Like, Jake is, first of all, you're not the first person he's done that to. Ain't no way. He's way too good at what he's done. Like, what he's doing and what he's accomplishing, he's way too good at it. He's been practicing, whether that's been on his family or on previous girlfriends. You're not the only one he's done this to, okay? I am also sorry that you're having to endure this or that you did endure this. Like, this, no one deserves this. I'm not gonna say I've been through something similar. Let's just say I know plenty of people that fit this pool of the can't work, can't hold a job, can't do this, can't do that, and then it's
lucky you have everything, and you don't understand what it's like to be in my position because you get everything that you want, and I've never had this.
So, me and you, we align. I think guys like to sell girls on dreams sometimes, okay? I think a lot of time they're like, I'm not here yet, but baby, I'm dreaming big. I'm gonna get the big one. I'm gonna make the money. I'm gonna be the sole provider. I'm gonna make sure you're taken care of. And we feed into them dreams like, yes, I support you, babe, whatever you need. All right, babe, I'm gonna make it happen. I just need $200 for that studio time. Make it happen. If you're going to make it happen, make it happen. I'm not saying you can't borrow money, but I'm just saying it's giving. I'm going to have to subsidize your freaking hobbies. It's giving. We all have visions. We all have dreams and everything, but it's actions. And it sounds like Jake wasn't putting in any action, all talk. And whenever he would try, he would fail and then not even give it a try back. He would get discouraged and was unmotivated. What I think I don't really like about this is that the fact that he's quitting, talking about stuff is too stressful or it didn't feel right. Let's just say I lived that. And honestly, it's a bunch of bullcrap. Honestly, it comes from a deeper place. The fact that he's also saying, like, don't leave me and everything, it gives abandonment issues. Like, it gives that he's probably been abandoned before. I mean, he's also manipulating you, too, but in trying to gaslight you and guilt trip you. Like, you said it, but it's also giving, like, he probably suffers from abandonment issues. Previously too. And so when he feels like that now you're leaving him and he's like, you won't find anyone better. I've experienced that too. That you won't find anyone better. And I'm like, then let me not find no one better then. Let me just be by myself. Even though we all know that's not true. We all know I'm going to find better than you. There's plenty of, this is the low of the low. Like, this is the low of the low. Must be nice to have things handed for you. Baby, you work. And then it was the fact that he couldn't even do the laundry, wash the dishes, pick up the clothes, go cook. It's the fact that you had to do everything. You was the man and the woman in the relationship, having to carry on the entire relationship. Honey, you ought to just be single because that's what you do anyway. You do this stuff for you anyway. What is Jake over here wasting my time, breathing my air? Get out, Jake. Get out. Absolutely not. Honestly, I'm happy that you left. Should have left sooner or Jake should have been kicked out because guess what? He wouldn't make it 2 seconds. He's the one that's dependent on you, that needs your money, that needs you to do stuff for him because it's giving his mom probably did a bunch of stuff when he was younger and that he's still living in that his mommy does everything. Because how was Jake living before? I'm highly curious. Where did Jake come from before? 32-year-old male. Jake, it's time to get out dreamland. We can't dream. We can't be in dreamland no more. It's done. We got to get into reality. Like 32? We're not 19. We're not 20 years old anymore. We're 32. Make some stuff happen. And then the threat is really sending me too because how dare you mother effing threat me talking about some bad things can happen to you. Bad things are happening to you right now, Jake. Bad things are already happening to me. I'm literally in this, like, freaking draining relationship. The bad has happened. What are you talking about? Like, you're just trying to get me to stay here and trying to scare me into staying here. And the fact that you said you almost worked, I'm so happy for your, like, candor and, like, I appreciate it because I understand that completely, but you were able to get out. So no, you shouldn't go back. Your family is a bunch of, first of all, maybe tell them your story, or if you feel like that they're not going to understand, they don't deserve it, that's fair too. They don't have to understand what you've been through or where you're coming from. The fact that Jake is over there boohoo crying to them, but then to you being like,
go wash them dishes, woman. Go, yeah. And when you get back, make me some food. You know that pasta I like. Yeah, woman.
Jake can kick mother effing rocks. Honestly, Jake can kick rocks. Like, am I the a-hole for texting a guy from a Google voice number? I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna be real with you. Someone let me know what that is. I, 25 years old female, matched with Lance, 49-year-old male, on a dating app. After a couple of days of talking on the app, he asked for my phone number. I gave him my Google voice number because I don't like giving out my actual phone number. The other night, after a few days of talking, he decided to try to call me, but I didn't answer because I was busy. When you call a Google voice number and the person doesn't answer, it plays an automated voice message that says that word is a lot for me. The Google voice subscriber is unavailable or something like that. The conversation after he tried to call me went like this.
Google Voice? You can't be serious.
What do you mean?
Why would you give me a fake-ass Google Voice number? I don't have time for games, and I don't like wasting my time.
It's a phone number. What's the difference?
It's not a real number.
So?
Hit me up when you're serious.
It's not a big deal, but okay.
I was genuinely confused. I've had guys get mad at me about a lot of things. A few guys have gotten mad at me because my profile says that I don't kiss until the second date and that I don't want to do anything sexual except kissing until we've been in an official relationship for 3 months, and because I stand on it and am not willing to let them bully and manipulate me into changing it. I've even had a couple of guys get mad at me because I would tell them whether or not I'm a virgin. One guy even tried to say that it's his business if we're going to be talking, and that I was weird because every other woman he asked answered and that I was the only one who wouldn't. But none of them have ever gotten mad at me for using my Google voice number to talk to them outside of the app. A few minutes later, I decided that it would be best to end things there. So I texted him and said, "Hey Lance, I'm really disappointed with how you reacted to me texting you from a Google voice number. Frankly, your anger about it is a huge red flag for me. It showed a lack of trust and a level of control that I'm not comfortable with, especially at this early stage. A simple conversation about it would have been fine, but your reaction made it clear we're not on the same page. I was genuinely interested in getting to know you, but this has completely changed my perspective. I'm no longer interested in pursuing anything romantic. I wish you all the best." He texted back and said, "Baby, I can't take you serious communicating with you through a fake number. I gave you a real number, so I expected the same from you. Women play too many games over the phone and through the internet. I'm not interested in wasting my time or effort with someone that I don't even know is real. I need proof that you're real, otherwise it's pointless." I texted back and said, "I said what I said." He texted back and said, "Okay, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but I won't waste any more time. Have a great rest of your year." I genuinely laughed at the fact that he actually thought he hurt my feelings. I texted back and said, "I'm not hurt at all. Plenty more where you came from. Obviously, I dodged a bullet." He texted back and said, "Wow, okay." And I texted back and said, "Okay." And that was that. I truly don't think that I did anything wrong, but maybe I'm missing something here. I need some outside opinions. So am I the a-hole? So first of all, let's start off with the fact. I am going to jump ahead real quick though to the fact that you're a 25-year-old female and that he's a 49-year-old male. So it's already giving, I'm not calling you immature, but with a 20-year gap like that, it's going to be a different level of maturity. It really just is. You guys are entering different stages of your life. You're going through, you just started your quarter life. Like, you still have so much more life to live. And he's literally about to be double your age. So I'm just saying you guys are going to already be on some different timing, most likely. I would say I think you weren't really correct on going back and forth with him. He responded. You took back, you said what you said. That was it. You shouldn't have said anything else. Like, if he said, I'm sorry that I wasted your time or hurt your feelings, like, blah, 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 you shouldn't have just not responded. I've dealt with someone like that, like, someone who just does, like, the tip or just the back and forth, the ka. And it's giving that you were kind of giving that little bit of back and forth when it's like, okay, this is the end of the conversation. You don't need to respond. After you said, I said what I said, you're right. You said what you said. Don't respond anymore. Even if he's like, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Or even if he was like, yeah, because what the F, you always wasting people's time. So, like, block, delete, block, whatever you need to do. You don't need to keep engaging in the conversation because you're feeding into it and it's giving the push that he needs. So responding back, I'm not hurt at all. Plenty more where you came from was a little childish. It's a little childish because it's like, well, obviously, we don't have to like get sensitive about it. It's giving you care a little bit, just a little bit. He takes it back. Wow, okay. You said okay. It's giving last word. Like, you kind of want the last word too, because after you said okay and that was that. Yeah, I think you're someone that might want the last word because you had the last word when you said, I said what I said. But then he replied back saying that, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. And then you felt like you had to keep like engaging in conversation. Ended there. You said what you said. That's correct. Stand on it. So maybe a little bit of the a-hole so far right now just for wanting to have the last word. Maybe because I don't really care for, it's not that serious. I'm happy that you communicated, that's good. You didn't just let him think whatever. But also, I kind of could see where Lance is coming from as far as the, like, you gave me a Google Voice number and I gave you my real number. He looks at it as like you're playing games or you're not really serious versus she just doesn't trust you yet. This woman doesn't trust me. So let me build her trust enough so I can like call her, like I can get the number. But he didn't even know that you gave the Google Voice number. But I never even knew Google Voice had a number. Like, what? The fact that you say, like, you've had a lot of guys be mad about you about a few things. Now let's unpack this. Got mad at you because your profile says you don't kiss till the second date. Honestly, you're better than me. I don't kiss until, mine isn't more so like a date thing. Mine's more so a time thing. I probably wouldn't kiss you for like 3 months. I'm going to be real with you. That's minimum. I have to feel it. Like, I really have to feel it. And we definitely have to at least go on one date. I do agree with that. So second date is very fair, honestly. I think the fact that guys are even tripping about that is real stupid to me. And it's giving you kind of already know what they're probably there for. They just want the affection or they just want like to kiss and then it escalates into more. So honestly, weed out the ones who aren't really there for a long time. They're there for a fun time. You don't want to do anything sexual until we've been in a relationship for 3 months. Like, okay, standards. Okay, boundaries. This is called your standard and your boundary. If anyone's going to make you feel bad about it, they got to go. Because a man who respects you is going to sit there and be like, okay, I can work with that. Like, I understand, but for some people, it's like sex is the end-all, be-all, and that's the number one, and that's the most important. And those people can have those kind of relations with other people, but it sounds like you're not that girl, and that's completely fine. Don't let anyone make you feel bad about that. Like, you're not that girl. You don't want to. It's your boundary. You don't have to. And you stand on it. Like, I love someone that stands on business. Stands on business and don't let no one break them down because people will break you down. You're on to something right here. I'm so happy for you, honestly. The other thing I'm not liking about Lance is that he's generalizing women. Once again, I can't stand that. Generalizing anything, honestly. So him being like, see, women play games. See, these women be playing games. Y'all women be playing games. Not all women play games. I'm not even going to sit here and say that this person right here, that she's playing a game. It sounds like she was actually serious. I will say there's certain like hints of immaturity I could see, but there's nothing where I'm like, oh yeah, you're playing game. Oh yeah, you're playing with him. You're playing with his feelings. The Google Voice number, honestly, is 49. I don't know if he has Instagram or if he is even big on social media. I'm not really too sure. You could have gave him an email or something, but what I will say is because he gave the number, it's kind of like, okay, like give me your number. It's not like he asked for your number and y'all met on a dating app. So I feel like when I be meeting people on apps, like I normally will give just my number. So I can see how he thinks it's a game. Are you the a-hole? Like, I'm not sensing that he was raging, but maybe he did and you just didn't like say exactly what it was. Yeah, I'm gonna say that you are somewhat the a-hole. We're gonna sum it up to you're somewhat the a-hole. Only because of the little bit of the like immaturity. But you're not the a-hole, I think, from texting guy from voice number, but I think that should have been communicated. That's the only thing that I will say. I think that you should have said like, hey, I don't feel comfortable giving you my real number, but will you take my Google Voice number? Like how I said, I'll be like, hey, I'm not gonna give you my number, but you can have my Instagram. You know what I'm saying? It's communicated where it's not like, here's my number. And it's like, but this isn't even actually your number. It does kind of put a sense of like distrust in his head, like, well, now I kind of don't want to, but I understand why you did as well. So I understand both parties, which is why it's like I like this because I'm an unbiased party. I'm going to say, yeah, somewhat, but like not fully. But Lance definitely isn't the a-hole. I don't find Lance in the a-hole category at all. If I had to choose between you and Lance, I would say that you, but it's not giving you're fully there because the intentions sound like they were pure. They do sound like pure intentions. It just sounds like bad miscommunication. And honestly, you two just are kind of on different pages to a certain stuff.